Hello again, I am Zarkoon, this is World of Warships Legends, and today I've got a game for you in the Tier 6 Russian battleship Sinop on the map Trident, Capture the Base mode. Now this game, it's a pretty good one, if I do say so myself. It ends up being pretty high damage, and I think it shows off some of the great strengths of the Sinop. Now, I did say in my impressions review video of the Sinop that this thing is squishy, and I stand by that. It is squishy unless you angle it. In that case, it's very tanky, but it does have a single weak spot, and that weak spot is the bow, specifically the top half or 3/4 of the bow. The Sinop is equipped with what is called the icebreaker armor, where it has a thicker layer of armor near the waterline on the bow. Now that part of it can't be overmatched by 15 or 16 inch guns. The 26mm upper bow armor can be overmatched by 15 and 16 inch guns, which means if you're pointing it directly at any battleship that sports 15 or 16 inch guns, there's a chance that their shells will go through your bow armor and cause pretty severe damage. Maybe not quite as severe as the damage we inflicted on that Leander there, because they probably won't score citadels. At least when I've shot 16-inch guns at the bows of Sinops, I haven't gotten citadels, but I've gotten pretty nasty, armor-piercing penetration damage through the bow. So that is the weak spot on this ship. You do have to be careful when you're playing it. You don't want to point it directly at enemy battleships with 15 or 16 inch guns, like this Gneisenau here, for example. We don't want to point our bow directly at him, although you're going to have to watch this guy and tell me if you understand his thought process here, because I don't. Now, obviously, I understand his thought process right now. He is turning around to disengage. There are too many ships on my team over here, and he does not want any part of that. Take a shot at the Ismail over the island and hit him really hard. What was that? That was like 50k. 4 citadels. That is unfortunate. The guns on this ship punch hard. They are 16-inch guns, much like the Gneisenau's, the Gneisenau has 15-inch guns, much like the Colorado, the Nagato, and the Nelson at this tier. But these guns have a very flat shell arc, pretty high shell velocity from what I can tell, and they punch through armor like no other guns in this game. They hit really hard. The only slight issue is you have to be at pretty close ranges to get their maximum effect. You can still hit some nasty shots from out at range. It's just less likely that a majority or even plurality of your shells are going to hit where you're aiming at long distances. That Pensacola is our next Citadel victim, and he goes down shortly after that. And here is what I was talking about. We're pretty close to this Gneisenau. We are in torpedo range, so we fully expect him to launch the torpedoes at us. We don't want to point our bow directly at his guns in case he knows the weak spot of the ship and knows where to shoot in order to overmatch our armor, which I do believe he can do even with his 15-inch guns. And now he's turning in towards us after shooting, I believe, so it's as safe as it's going to be for me to pull this move that I'm pulling here right now. I want to start sailing away from the Gneisenau. It seems like his turtleback armor functions very, very well, and I was just not scoring super great hits on him at such close range. So I've completely turned around now. I am leading him away. There's a friendly destroyer in front of me, and 2 friendly cruisers who are just tearing into this Gneisenau. He appears hell-bent on trying to kill me. Looks like he kind of wants to turn to launch his torpedoes, but we take him out before he can do that, and we are now sitting at 130,000 damage. Essentially, this side of the map has been cleared out for us. And once our heel, there's another Citadel and the Confederate medal. This ship is ridiculous. At these kind of ranges, against these kind of targets, Citadels left and right. Let's see if we can make it. Yet another on this poor Omaha who somehow managed to division up into a tier 6 game. No such luck there, but that Omaha isn't going to be around. In fact, he goes down. Not to me, to another teammate, and that's fine. The score here is kind of close. 346 to 336, just got closer, actually. And it appears that the enemy on the other side of the map has done what I've done with the excellent support of the 2 friendly cruisers and that friendly destroyer on this side of the map. That York is the only one left here, and this shot, after he beaches himself, is... okay, it's not going to finish him off, somebody else is. Whatever, he's gone either way, and that was the whole point. So soon we are going to be able to put pressure on the enemy base, and hopefully, as long as we can get into their base before they get into ours, they're going to have to turn back and defend. We do have 1 friendly battleship left in our base, but I kinda don't like his chances facing off against 2 enemy battleships and a destroyer. And it's going to be quite a while before we come into contact with another enemy ship. So I want to take a second and talk about whether this Sinop would be a good ship to take into the upcoming ranked season, which features tier 6 ships. And I would say this is probably one of the stronger battleships, if not the strongest tech tree battleship at tier 6. The only disadvantage that it really has is the range on its guns. I think most of the tier 6 battleships should be able to easily outrange this ship, even if they aren't using the commander with flammable cannoneer and doing much to the gun range. I think they should all be able to outrange this particular ship by at least a kilometer. So there's that. And of course it does have that 26mm bow plating, which can be overmatched by the guns of most other tier 6 battleships. But so long as you know that and you keep that away from the enemy's ability to exploit by, angling, then you should be able to tank a fair bit of damage, and if you can get in close, you should be able to dish out a fair amount of damage. Another problem, though, would be its ability to deal with destroyers. And here we see the Moss. Now, this ship can deal with destroyers in the sense that it is fairly maneuverable, and if you're paying close enough attention, you can dodge a lot of torpedoes. The problem is all that maneuvering is going to open you up if there are other enemy ships lurking around. And of course, I said this ship is squishy, and it is if you don't angle. The Citadel is exposed above the water. It sits pretty high up. It's very easily accessible to any of the Tier 6 battleships that you might find yourself facing off against. And if they hit it, they will punish you. So making mistakes in this ship will result in, your quick demise if you aren't careful. So that is a major downside. But if you know what you're doing and you're a decent battleship player, then I'd say this ship is probably a pretty strong choice for ranked, and I'm certainly going to try it out when the next season begins. Anyway, the Moss appears again. He has launched torpedoes, but we get extremely advanced notice. I think one of the friendly cruisers probably running their hydroacoustic search, but right now it is imperative for me to take this guy out. He is the biggest threat against me. I can angle against the enemy battleships, but I cannot angle against torpedoes. I can only dodge them. Don't want them to hit me at all. But it looks like the Moss is quickly going to escape. Maybe not. We might be able to hit him, but we are thinking about shooting at the enemy battleships in order to protect our two cruiser teammates who have done an excellent job supporting us in our push to the enemy base. We do take a shot at the New Mexico. We're hoping that the cruisers can deal with the destroyer, but of course they are shooting, or at least one of them is shooting at the battleships. So it may not happen. And in any case, the destroyer has dropped spot, and the New Mexico looks like he is about to turn broadside to us. But he doesn't, and unfortunately, we weren't really paying attention to where we were sailing, and I guess this New Orleans probably wasn't either. Either way, we run right into him, and we're trying to back up, but of course this is a big boat and it's going to take a second. So he was just frozen in place there for an uncomfortably long amount of time, and his rather stationary position does result in his demise, which I feel pretty bad for. I am so sorry, New Orleans player, if you're watching this. I did send the guy a message. Luckily, he was a PlayStation player, and I did apologize to him, but it appeared that he only spoke French, so I do hope he understood my apology. In any case, I think the best apology would be to win this game. So it looks like we're going to be able to do that as long as we don't die. Gonna try and kill this Moss now that he has presented himself again. And notice we are approaching the 200,000 damage mark, and we've got 3 targets left. But the clock is going to probably run out before we can get to 200k. And those torpedoes from the friendly, I think it's a Graf Spee, are excellent, right on target. They take down the Fuso. Only the New Mexico is left. He takes out the Graf Spee, but his team is so far behind on points that it's not going to matter. And we still have that friendly battleship waiting in the wings who destroys him, denying us the 200k, but that's alright. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.